From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I don't know why, but you are.
What's going on, wrestling nerds, and welcome to the State of the Turnbuckle show. I'm AJ Capola. To my left, hi Ryan. Hi Ryan.
Oh, like the Brady Bunch beginning?
Yeah, kind of.
One thing is for sure, whoever's at the top of this stack is falling through the other two.
No shit. No shit. Don't. Like that Aristocats scene where they're playing the piano going through floor after floor after floor.
Yeah. So, guys, the basic premise of this one is this is a bonus show. It's going to be short and sweet. We're calling it the State of the Turnbuckle, kind of like a State of the Union address. With the regular podcast, we really don't touch base on current day shit, as they say. This allows us to kind of give a quick review or opinion on some things that are going on in both WWE, AEW, different companies. I guess then we'll start off with the news of the week, and it seems to have the whole internet abuzz. Is after the merger of WWE and UFC with Endeavor, they're now called TKO. There was cuts. We've known there was going to be cuts for a while. This didn't come to a shock to anybody. Some of the names on the list may have come to a shock to people, but also some of them are did they get cut or did their contracts? And they just didn't get renewed. I see it as a lot of cutting off the extra fat, so to speak, of guys that are in catering all the time because they don't have anything for them. I think Bruce Pritchard says it better. It's time for some of them guys to go somewhere else and get a fresh paint of coat.
Mm-hmm.
To go learn a new move. I think a lot of them guys will succeed on that. Mustafa Ali is one that comes to mind because honestly, his character was confusing. Was he
Internet
Antifa?
super hacker?
Was he a super hacker? Was he Antifa? Was he an Iron Man thing with the hand glow thing? Confused. Guys that were kind of shocking was Dolph Ziggler. I kind of thought that was coming. They haven't really used Dolph to build Braun Breaker in NXT. Gave him that little NXT title run. But other than that, they haven't really done anything with him. Probably the part that sucks for him more is Bobby Roode getting the neck surgery and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of killed that whole tag team. But I think Dolph's done good for himself. He's been in the WWE for 20 years.
Mikey, Nikki.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of avenues outside of wrestling if he chooses to go there. He does stand-up comedy.
He's on Fox News every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, he's everywhere. And I mean, I'm gonna put on my owner hat here. Well, God forbid, if I'm an owner and I'm AEW, I'm just gonna go take a long walk up a short pier. But if I'm
dive into a bag of,
if I'm Impact, I'm calling Dolph Ziggler. Impact is very underrated for what the product they put out is, and it's mainly because people can't find it on TV sometimes.
Is it a lot better than what it used to be about 5 to 10 years ago?
I've always liked the TNA product.
Okay.
So there was times where it was a little campy, but I
Hard
didn't
to
hate
find.
it.
I think that's the biggest issue. It's just hard to find.
Yeah, I think it's on Access still, or I forget what channel it's actually on now. Um, but like I think Dolph in that setting would be really, really good.
Mhm.
I we'll get into the tirade later of AEW, but I feel like he would go to AEW. Yes, he would probably get a big contract.
Make
He
a
would
hell
be-
of a first impression like they all do.
He would be on TV for 3 weeks, and then he'd be right back to where he is in the WWE in catering, doing whatever. Some of the other ones are it was a lot of, if you look at it, it was cutting the fat off of people. It was people that didn't have storylines, or
And it wasn't said that long ago by a certain H guy. If you don't like what you got, take your lemons and make lemonade. And it might have needed to add, just maybe do it not here.
yeah. And I don't. It's kind of funny because I had this discussion with a friend. If you look at everybody's tweets, it was, I'm no longer with the WWE. And I don't know if that was done that way because their contracts are up and they didn't get renewed, or they were trying to not do the whole future endeavor, considering the company's now owned by Endeavor.
Ooh,
So
2 and 2.
yeah, it's weird. It could have been that. Could have been.
I feel kind of like, I understand the cutting and everything, but I kind of feel bad for Emma because she was like, Elimination Chamber in Australia. Yeah. And then, what, 29 minutes later? Yeah, that didn't last long. I'm no longer with WWE.
Well, the good thing is she can go.
Yeah, as a fan.
Her schedule will be cleared. So, and I think she will land on her feet. She will instantly go to AEW, and she'll be in that women's division.
I mean, looks like WWE like getting one of their women over to NXT. What is that, Jade Cargill?
Alleged.
I would not be shocked if she doesn't just show up on main roster. I don't see her showing up in TNA, or I mean at NXT. She's gonna show up main roster. I don't mind Jade Cargill. I didn't like the Goldberg build that AEW did of her. She's one hell of a woman. I mean, she is physically like wow.
Like China built?
Better.
Okay.
I mean, she's gonna make her versus Charlotte, and that needs to be where they go with her, would be fantastic, because it'd be the first time, except for against Nia, which we'll get into her a little bit in a minute. It's the first time Charlotte will be the underdog, size wise. Jade is bigger, stronger, faster than Charlotte, and I think that's will be one hell of a matchup when they go there with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with her. We had the Rock return on SmackDown there last Friday or 2 Fridays ago. I unfortunately did not see it live, and it's live, or the pop of it. But
of course you didn't
153
see it
million views, the most viewed clip
this
of the
year.
But I told TJ this the day he sent it to me. It's a one-off. I didn't think it was gonna build off of anything. If anything, it'll build towards. It'll make everybody want to see more of it by the time we get to Rumble.
Then what does Cody do?
It's a good question.
There was already a meme I saw of Cody like
I don't.
in
As
CM Punk
CM
pipe
Punk.
bomb.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think they're gonna change the Cody story. Um, I don't think they're gonna make him beat Roman before Mania.
Mhm.
Um, I have a strong feeling that Roman will work both nights of Mania. Um, I feel like what'll happen is the winner of the Rumble, which I pray to God every day of my being that it's not that idiot from Chicago returning. Um, will challenge
Are you talking
Rollins.
about CM Punk coming back?
Yeah, that idiot.
God, I fucking hope not.
I'd rather get Ricky Rabies.
Well, I've heard that the Endeavor people really liked Punk when he was in UFC, and it's not owned by Vince anymore, but it is still creatively by Hunter. So
I freaking hope not. I don't want
we
him
will
anywhere
see.
near a wrestling ring.
We will we'll have to wait and see on that. But I still either way, the guy that wins the Rumble is going to challenge Rollins for the world title at WrestleMania if Rollins is still the world champion. Which I could very well see being Gunther. That's just my opinion.
Winning the Rumble, yes.
Yes.
Now some other names off that list. Any others big shocking at all?
Not
No.
really shocking, but
I mean, the one that stands out just for entertainment factor is Rick Boogs.
Freddie
The
Mercury.
dude's over. I mean, he was over. I mean, he's literally in a Snickers commercial with Bianca at the moment. That one was a little weird, but I've heard the rumors that he says it was politics is the reason he got fired. Who knows? So we'll wait and see what that one does. Elias, that gimmick died a year and a half ago.
Ezekiel, I think, killed it. Really.
I'm sorry. That gimmick died when Edge speared him at SummerSlam. That was like beginning of the end for me on that gimmick. It was just over with by then.
Riddick Moss. Kind of had to go with Emma.
I don't know so much if he had to go with Emma, but after the Madcap part, we didn't have anything. I saw him at Raw in July as a dark match. And I mean, he is a specimen, and he will land somewhere. Again, I think if these guys want to work, and a lot of them, it seems like want to work, I think they're going to end up at Impact or they're going to end up in NWA. I don't think they're going to go to AEW.
Is there anybody on that list that you think might be basically done wrestling, or nobody will pick
Probably
them up?
Shelton. I think Shelton Benjamin's been around a long time.
Not the one I thought he was going to come up.
Shelby B is the only one on that list that I think could end up in AEW. And I'll tell you where I'd put him. The Blackpool Combat Club. Because it's a group of wrestlers, and Shelton Benjamin is a wrestler. That would be a kind of a good little fit for him.
Yeah, I don't think Riddle goes anywhere. I don't think anybody wants him. All the shit around him's too toxic.
I think Riddle is a Marty Scurll the villain deal where nobody's gonna touch him for weeks, or not weeks, months, maybe even a year or so.
Only Top Dollar.
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, why?
Only, though.
Why only him?
Because
evidently they hold some value with the other two.
They can do. They feel like they can do something with the other.
Well,
now, don't get me wrong.
Hillary and Carlton.
Don't get me wrong. I like AJ Francis. He is a wonderful follow on TikTok and social media. He will talk to fans. He will reach out with fans. He's a great human being. And it's not. I've heard the things where people were saying, "Well, you remember him for his one moment where he tried to jump over the top rope," which he pointed out he tried to do that before. That's not it. He's so boring.
What's worse, him or Street Profit dude? Not Montez Ford, D'Angelo Hawkins.
I would take Hawkins over Uncle Phil.
Really?
Yeah, I would take D'Angelo Dawkins over.
Okay.
Over Top Dollar.
'Cause I know what your thoughts on Dawkins, and
I don't mind Dawkins, but he's the Marty Jannetty of that tag team, in my opinion.
yeah,
Do I wish that there wasn't a Marty Jannetty of that tag team? Yes. But Montez Ford has the capability of being
And probably
Um,
will.
a mega star in his own right. And that's one of those weird things. I love this whole heel Street Profit with Bobby Lashley, but get rid of the Street Profit gimmick.
yeah.
Well, is it fair to maybe even link those two to Harlem Heat? With
Not yet.
But I'm saying like Montez being more of Booker and Dawkins being Stevie Ray.
I would agree on that part. But get rid of the Street Profit gimmick. Get rid of the red cups. Get rid of they want the smoke. Just if you're gonna be guys in business suits, be guys in business suits. That's my thing. That's what I prefer. That's what I want to see. I don't want you to change your gimmick and turn heel, but do the same thing as you did as a face. You have to change it up completely. If anything, you come out with a red solo cup and you raise it up and you get ready for them all to fall, and then you just crush the red cup. You do a Bailey to the
Bailey
inflatable
buddies.
wacky guys. Yeah.
Wacky wavy inflatable tube men.
Yeah. So I mean
Saxton was saying.
the releases that happened this week suck. I get it. But in the end of the day, it's a business. And yes, they just announced their $21 billion deal with USA Network for SmackDown. And then they cut all these people. It happens.
Is there anything to the rumor that SmackDown might be going 3 hours now too?
God, I hope not.
Hunter doesn't want it. Hunter thinks it's a bad idea.
If anything, I hope that with a new deal, Raw goes back to 2 hours.
Because that's going to go straight to NBC primetime, right?
What?
Is NBC staying? Is Raw staying USA, or are they going NBC?
No. USA, Raw and NXT are both leaving the USA NBC universe.
Oh.
SmackDown moves the USA Network on Friday nights, or actually, it hasn't even been solidified that it'll be a Friday night.
I hope so. I like them on
And
Fridays.
then there's been rumors that Raw and NXT will go to either Amazon Prime or Disney Plus.
Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN, like that combo.
I fucking hope not. I want them to stay on, for a better term, cable.
Well, you got to remember, AJ, UFC has ties with ESPN Plus.
Well, also think about it. That wonderful moment we had with The Rock got ruined because it was on broadcast television.
That is 1,000% exact. Yeah.
He's calling Austin Theory an asshole, and it's getting blacked out or blocked out where you can't even hear it. And it's
to be fair, WWE in parts of the world is already being shown on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Not here, of course, but I don't know. I saw something where they would go to NBC.
Yeah. No. What'll happen is, I was going to touch on that for SmackDown, which is awesome for us retro fans. SmackDown goes to the USA Network, but NBC gets 4 primetime specials a year. So we get Saturday night's main event, hopefully is what it is. We get Saturday night's main event returns for this era. That would be fantastic. That was one of my favorite things as a kid, was Saturday night's main event. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to get. But I mean, you're going to see, I mean, I've seen us sticking around. It sounds like the plan is
show.
It sounds like it might even be towards Rumble.
Oh shit.
I've heard Cena versus Solo has been carded for Rumble. which would be a nice little touch for Solo. The whole storyline from SmackDown where the mystery partner or
Wide
Cena
open.
or Cena's tag partner
It's
after
wide
AJ.
open.
I mean, could it be Orton? Maybe. Could it be The Rock? That would be electrifying. But it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that if they fill it right. It was, I believe, from what I've read, from what I saw, LA Knight was supposed to be on SmackDown.
COVID.
He evidently contracted COVID and couldn't be on the show. So that's why we didn't get an LA Knight segment. But I think WWE is finally Hunter's direction, if I put it that way. If you understand that.
Yeah.
It's now I hate when they all claim if it's a bad show.
It's
Vince.
Vince must have had his hand in the cookie jar.
I think everything is in the direction of where Hunter wants things to go. And I think it's time to sit back and enjoy the ride.
But you say step back and enjoy the ride, and I feel like now cool deals and everything are being made, especially with USA and all that stuff with SmackDown. If they take Raw, like I mean just Raw, do whatever with NXT. Throw that on Disney Plus, Hulu by itself, Amazon. But if they take Raw, I feel like losing so many viewers because you're putting it on a paid service that I don't find that being a good business move. But then again, we're just commentating on it. We're not looking at all the numbers.
What if Raw ends up on ABC?
Is it Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
That's on ESPN.
It's on ABC too. They do 2 Monday Night Footballs from now on. One on ESPN and one on ABC.
And we also have the Eli and Peyton thing on ESPN too, or where is one of something?
Well, we get the ABC thing only because of the strikes. There's no new TV shows on Monday nights, so they put the football game on ABC. I don't know. I feel weird about it because I'm not particularly fond of the network on Peacock. I liked it when it was its own separate thing.
Same here.
Like it is in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I preferred it to be its own separate thing, and I wish they would update it more because they don't, and I hate that. But I don't know. It's touchy because the amount of money that Amazon Prime would throw at WWE or TKO, Endeavor, whatever, for Raw would be astronomical.
I wouldn't even roll out YouTube.
I don't know about YouTube. YouTube, I don't think has the capability to. They would make it so that we had to pay $50 for pay-per-views again.
I think that's coming either way.
I don't think so. I think the more they pay attention to people, the more they if anything, make the network more. Yeah, I'll pay an extra $5 for the network to give me. I'll pay $15 a month for the network if it gives me a pay-per-view. I mean, you've already taken it out of the guys' hands. The boys don't get a cut on things anymore because they're on the network. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes for sure. But Raw not being on USA Network would be really weird because it's always been on USA except for like the
Spike.
Well, it was like 6-year run where it was on TNT and Spike, or TNN, the Nashville network. Then turn into Spike, but I'm excited to see what WWE is gonna do. I know the road to WrestleMania starts in January, but this is the build to the road, and I'm ready to see where they go. This is where you start seeing things take place, start to shape up. So I'm looking forward to AEW or for WWE. I know. I just
Had
caught
to
myself.
catch yourself there.
The next would be AEW for this. Um,
I don't really have a lot for this. I tried my best to get into the AEW product, and it just feels like very much all over the fucking place to the point where it is very hard for people to follow what's going on.
Especially across 3 shows a week. I mean, I've been trying to watch more, and I'm still trying to figure out what's happening on what show and what is exclusive to that show. I mean, it's the Dynamite. Well, what's Wednesday?
Dynamite.
Dynamite is Wednesday. You have
Collisions on Saturdays.
Collision Saturday.
Rampage is Friday.
Rampage is Friday. I typically swap from SmackDown to Rampage. And like,
it's not like I don't like the people on the shows.
Oh God, no!
I like a lot of the wrestlers and everything. It's just like they don't know how to tell fucking stories.
Well, like in their biggest story they got going right now with MJF and Adam Cole. There's like
Adam
parts
Cole just hurt himself too.
So did the ref. Some of the stories like on Wednesday, and then a different part of the stories, and I'm actively trying to like watch this and get caught up and be in it, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I mean, I am old school as old school gets when it comes to pro wrestling. I need a story, and I need the story to be more over than the wrestling actually is. I love this business because of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And AEW does not do storytelling very good. I've said this to you too, and I'll say it so that everybody else can hear it. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. I don't care how big of a super fan Tony Khan is. I don't care. I mean, I appreciate him giving everybody days off to go to Bray's funeral and making sure that they got back and forth, all that stuff. Great. That's fine. That's being a super fan. Tony Khan writing wrestling is equivalent to Daniel Snyder owning the Washington Redskins.
Do you think Vince Russo did a better job writing wrestling?
I think I'd rather jump off the pier.
I was just trying to make a point on how bad Tony Khan.
But Vince understood story and didn't understand wrestling. So Vince always had storylines going. And that's what made Attitude Era work. Everybody had a story in the Attitude Era. From the first match to the last match, they had stories. And they intertwined throughout the show. And I get it. Some fans are just want to see wrestling. That's great. I've been watching wrestling since I was 2 years old. And what draws you in to a match and wants you to pay to go see it is the story they tell before you get to the building. And AEW doesn't finish stories unless you are two sets of people. And that's Omega and the Yuck Bucks. Sorry, I don't call them the Young Bucks. They are the Yuck Bucks. I am not a fan of them whatsoever. There's nothing about them that screams to me the greatest tag team of any generation. Me and TJ and another friend sat down and watched what was it? All Out, All In, whatever the London pay-per-view was. Was AJ? I believe you were there. I can't remember. Trust me, I wanted to fall asleep.
I helped you pay for it.
But I told both of you as they were coming to the ring that I know what this match is going to lay out like. The Young Bucks versus FTR, who, in my opinion, are the greatest tag team of this generation. They are the best because the Briscoes aren't around anymore. R.I.P. to Jay Briscoe. The Briscoes were the best tag team, in my opinion, other than FTR. But I told you too when they come to the ring. I guarantee you I know what's going to happen. The Bucks are going to get beat down. The Bucks are going to get beat down. They're going to get destroyed. The black-haired one, I think it's Matt. The Matt Hardy version of the Young Bucks is going to get, his back's going to get hurt because in every match his back gets hurt. He's had a back injury for 10 years now. I think it's time to get it checked out, dude. His back will fail him on something. The other team will capitalize on it. He'll make the hot tag to Nick. Nick will do his little flippity flop over the top rope things. And then it's super kick party. And it's super kick this guy and super kick that guy. And oh, wait, my back doesn't hurt anymore. Super kick that guy. Yes, it's similar to the Usos, but the Usos tell a story. The Young Bucks tell the same boring story every time. Up until the finish. If it's not going to go their way, then it changes. But if it's going to go their way, it's Meltzer Driver, it's Super Kick Party, whatever you want to call it, Young Bucks win. And God forbid Young Bucks put over a team or somebody younger or lower than them on the card. We just saw it at Grand Slam. AEW and Ring of Honor are together, which I absolutely hate because you have 3 shows and 12 titles. It just makes no sense to me. But there's the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles.
Yep.
Brian Cage, who should be at the top of a list of contenders for the AEW World title. This dude, when he left Impact, was on Cloud 9, was the top dog. To go to AEW and not becomes the FTW champion. Him and the Embassy have been the 6-man tag champs for almost a full year. And they had to face the Young Bucks and Hangman, and you knew that Hangman and the Bucks were going to walk out with those titles.
I just feel with the Young Bucks, Ryan, that it's kind of piggybacking off what you said. It's the same thing. But instead of your analogy, it's like one of them gets hurt, they disappear for a half hour, come back out with something stupid, game-changing, kick somebody in the head, a big explosion goes off, and, oh, that's the finish of the match.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the EVPs that started AEW, the only one that put people over was Cody.
And everybody booed him out the door.
And he left. Why? Because God knows. Evidently, we'll never know until later on, I feel like. But it's like, I don't get, and I laugh because I do see the comparison. For anybody that knows me, I am a Hulk Hogan fan through and through. And I'm an NWO guy for life. And I understand the politicking that they did in the day. But it's different because they still told stories as the NWO. The finishes may have changed. Sting may have not went over on Hogan clean, but it was at least trying to tell a story. And the Bucks don't tell a story. It's just the Bucks are in a match, 90% of the time they're going to win.
Yeah.
It's just something I don't like. Now, there's things in AEW I like. Don't get me wrong. There's things in AEW that I like. I like MJF. I love Adam Cole. I've followed Adam Cole since he was down in Baltimore at MCW, winning the Shamrock Cup down there in Maryland Championship Wrestling. I've been a fan of Cole for a long time. I like the Acclaim. I didn't like them at first, but they've grown on me. I love the Acclaim.
I love how they rip on people coming down the apron.
Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, and I love one of my favorite wrestlers, non-WWE, is Sling Blade Jay White. I love Jay White. He is awesome. So I am a big fan of Bullet Club Gold with him and Juice Robertson and the Gun Boys. I love it. Tony Storm is my girl. You guys know that. She's always been my favorite since she debuted. I loved her in WWE as the punk rocker. I absolutely love the Marilyn Monroe glamour model girl that she is now. I love it. The whole chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe is one of my favorite spot things to see watch on TikTok. I just think it's hilarious.
Her and Renee Young.
Yeah, she has found herself. She has done what the WWE wanted her to do. Go learn a new hold. Don't be the same punk rocker you were when you came here. Go learn a new hold, and we'll bring you back. I promise we'll bring you back, and you'll be bigger than ever. That's what the WWE does. They want you to go learn from other places and bring it all back together. Does this sound familiar? I think there's a blonde-haired kid that wears a weightlifting belt to the ring that's learned that left and learned everything outside of the WWE and brought it back. And now he's home. Now he's trying to finish the story. That's what the WWE does better than anybody. And that's why they are the top dog. There's no WWE, AEW. It's WWE and everybody else. And it will always be that way. No matter who owns it and who runs it.
And it's also a big gamble too, because just because you release somebody, hey, come back to us when you learn more and grow your character. It's a complete gamble because, as I mentioned him, I think on our Miz show, look at Matt Cardona. Look at everything he's done.
When his music hits and he returns to the WWE, that place will blow up bigger than when The Rock's music hit.
Right, your rant there, we can literally circle that back to the top of the show, and there is a list out there of people who were just released that need to hear that. They need to hear that, and I hope they heard it. And if they do it, everybody knows. We've seen it now with Cody. Cody's not the first. It's a cycle. Go learn something new and come back. I mean, the Hardys left for a while. The Hardys came back. Broken Matt came back. That Mania Pop was.
Nah,
that whole list of releases.
I am a wrestling fan at heart. I'm not one that picks sides, but AEW makes it really, really hard sometimes for me to like it.
Not just you.
And I've tried, and I will continue to try. I'm like TJ. I will try. Like I said before, there are things I like. I like Luchasaurus. I like the Acclaim. The one I like the most is nowhere to be found. And what for? Warlow was more over than MJF at the end of their story, and who the hell cares about him now?
Where even is he?
I mean, that's one of my two prime examples of AEW not completing stories, and nobody can tell me I do any different. Warlow and MJF was an awesome build for that. That made me buy that pay-per-view. I wanted to see Warlow and MJF, and it was 3 power bombs and a pin. Now, if that was on the WWE, the internet would explode and say, "This is bullshit. This is a Brock Lesnar match. Why are we doing this again? We're burying people. Blah blah blah." But it didn't fit. Like
all
it didn't
AEW is a glorified indie show that's televised.
I wouldn't use such harsh words as glorified indie show. But it's a wrestling show, and I get that. But you still have to be entertained to watch it. It's not, let me get my shit in and let's see what happens.
I mean, it feels like that. It really does.
And I mean, I'm going to put my opinion on this out there. I want AEW to succeed.
Oh, that's why you're on the podcast. Is to
well,
give
no, I'm
your
saying
opinion.
though, but like I want AEW to succeed
Oh, absolutely.
because the more wrestling, the better. But the problem is, it is so easy for me to miss a week of Raw, turn it back on, and know what the fuck is going on, than try to have watched the last 3 weeks of AEW and still don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
Exactly.
Like, I don't. I'm trying. I don't. I'm like, other than I've got that Scissor Me Daddy is fucking hilarious and I love it. And that MJF and Adam Cole, when they do finally fucking like,
That's the other way. It's the other side.
when MJF and Cole do finally like explode, because it's gonna happen eventually, the fucking place is gonna go ape shit for whoever, you know, turns on, because it could have happened already. The turn could have happened. It was
But
there. That was the London show. It could have happened.
Here's the problem with that. Is it gonna happen?
If one of them gets hurt, before it can happen.
Yeah. That's the flaw AEW has. You had Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly show up, and they were with the Elite, and it was looking like, oh, we're gonna get the Undisputed Era or Undisputed Elite or whatever the hell they were calling themselves. They're gonna take on Young Bucks and Omega, and it's gonna be huge.
Where have they
Granted,
been?
Granted, we knew that there was no way that the Bucks and Omega were going to put over Cole and Fish and O'Reilly. You just knew that was going to happen. But they build and build and build, and they tease and tease and tease that Cole's going to super kick the Bucks. Omega gets hurt, and they drag the storyline on until he's ready to come back. And by the time he's ready to come back, O'Reilly's got a neck injury and is sitting on this shelf. Bobby Fish is now in New Japan and doesn't want anything to do with AEW. And they take Cole off of it altogether because that's when he gets his concussion at Forbidden Door. They wasted that whole story angle waiting for Omega to come back. Where in hindsight, I'm not a wrestling writer, but I'm pretty damn educated in wrestling to watch enough to know. You bury the Young Bucks for months by Cole and Fish and O'Reilly, and you beat the shit out of the Bucks for months. Omega's ready to come back, and boom, there's your pop. Omega shows up, takes out the Elite or the Undisputed Era, and we're off to the races with this trios titles, which was created for the storyline. It was created for the Undisputed Era versus the Elite for the trios titles. That's where this whole story was going to go. But because they drug their feet, Fanboy was waiting on Omega to get better, the whole story got destroyed.
And can you imagine if Adam Cole is on the shelf for a period of time now? In the middle of this, is he going to turn on MJF or vice versa?
And then we're going to have MJF as the champion for another year, only defending the belt twice. That's what this is going to turn into because Vince and the WWE.
Right, I didn't know Roman showed up in AEW.
You're the one that acknowledges him, not me. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm just saying it's the knock on Roman is he's not on TV all of a sudden, and here we are.
And I really hate that I called it the glorified indie show, but it feels like it when you're watching it. It literally feels like they're just throwing shit at the wall. Hey, they'll like this. Next week we'll do something completely different.
And can I tell you how bad of a look it's coming out now after, the world record London show? And now all of a sudden
they're about 30,000 off.
Are actually coming out, and it's not.
Yeah, I get it. They're not sports entertainment. I get it. They're trying to be everything but sports entertainment. But some of the stuff that they do is just I grit my teeth because like talking about people I like. I love Claudio. Cesaro is one of my favorite wrestlers. That Combat Bullet Club or Combat Blackpool Club, whatever the hell, is a fucking joke. You've got Moxley bleeding every night, which is getting old very quick.
It got old 5 or 6 months ago.
And you've got now he gets dropped on his head in a match against Phoenix. Daniel Bryan is showing why Bryan Danielson, the last dragon, how he's supposed to be so good, is proving why he's still not in the WWE because all he does is keep getting hurt. I don't know. Maybe the WWE was right on that. Why don't we settle you down, Daniel? It seems like you always keep hurting yourself. Oh, what's he do? Breaks his forearm. Maybe they were right about you.
Yeah, but how about that freaking call where what was it, a sit down pile driver, and it actually hurts Moxley, and he only has a concussion. I was thinking he was going to be way worse.
Could have been a Stone Cold injury.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things where the communication's off because the referee didn't even know he got dropped on his head and doesn't count 3 at first. And Moxley looks at the referee and says, "Fuck you," because he didn't count the 3. And then what do? They pick him up and do it again. If that's WWE or any other sport where you get dropped on your head, you're done. The match is over. Boom. No.
The ref immediately goes to the dude and grabs his hand.
Yeah, there's so much more safety concerns in WWE than there is AEW. And I would love the comments to let me know. I'm not burying AEW. I want AEW to succeed and get better.
We all do.
But all 3 of us. You can't be happy with what they do on a regular basis. Granted, some of the matches, when they pull them off, are absolutely amazing. But where do they go from there is the problem that I have with AEW.
Everything's a one-off.
Everything is a one-off. Everything is GSMI. And it's just, and that means get my shit in.
Yeah, I got you.
But like, it's just aggravating sometimes when I try to watch it. And like, you guys know me, I have a very good mind of creative. There's been plenty of times where we've been watching the same thing and I call out exactly what's going to happen before it happens because I've seen enough wrestling to know how this works. Wrestling's not something you come up with a new creative way of doing things.
Yeah.
You come up with a new creative way of repeating the same thing that's happened year after year after year. That's how wrestling works. You don't come up with a brand new concept in wrestling. You recycle a used product that happened years ago that you hope fans will forget, and then you're good to go. But
hold on,
it's hard to like it the way
you just
it is
unmuted
right
yourself in Discord. I got you. Don't worry. There you go. Continue. I don't know how you did that.
Guys, that was the turnbuckle or the state of the turnbuckle. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to do this every couple of weeks with our feelings on the current products.
Yeah, this is the bonus episode.
Reviews coming up. But it's been fun. So like, subscribe, click the like, give us a thumbs up. Tell AJ to fuck off. I don't care.
Or Fry or me.
But
all right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like Ryan said, hit that like and subscribe. But this is our bonus episode. It's going to be a bare bones fun show. Justin, we're giving him the nights off from recording with these episodes. But thank you to everything he does for us at eNerdtainment on YouTube. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next Wrestling with Nerds show. Peace.
Doses.